Welcome to the Learning Summit podcast, where we explore the future of learning, education, and workplace training. Today we're talking about modern learning design, less structure, more learning. And who better to talk about this than Sean Gilligan, the founder of Webanywhere, a company that's been at the forefront of learning management systems and digital education for years. Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Alex. Great to be here. Modern learning design is a huge passion of mine, and I'm excited to dive in.
Let's start with a problem we see all the time in both schools and businesses: learning that's too structured. We have rubrics, frameworks, rigid courses, and step-by-step guides. The intention is good, but as you've pointed out before, this can kill curiosity.
Exactly. Think about it. When was the last time you really enjoyed learning something? Chances are it wasn't because you were forced through a checklist. When learning is too rigid, people go into compliance mode. They do what's required, but they don't engage deeply, and they certainly don't retain it.
So what's the alternative? How should learning be designed?
It should be designed to spark curiosity. Instead of spoon-feeding learners information, we should be creating environments where they want to learn. That means on-demand learning instead of scheduled sessions, conversational learning instead of passive listening, and action-driven learning, where people actually do the thing rather than just read about it.
That makes a lot of sense, and it aligns with something I've noticed. When people discover information themselves, they remember it better than if someone just tells them.
Yes, that's because they're mentally engaged in the process. For example, in a corporate setting, imagine an employee is learning how to handle a difficult customer. Option A, watch a 30-minute video and answer a multiple-choice quiz. Option B, get a voice note from a real customer, figure out how to respond and record a reply. Which one do you think sticks more?
Definitely option B. It's active rather than passive.
Exactly, that's the whole point. Less structure, more learning. Instead of designing step-by-step courses, we should be designing real-world experiences.
Another big shift in learning is social and collaborative learning. Sean, what's your take on how social learning compares to traditional solo learning?
Oh, it's night and day. Learning is a social activity. If you look at some of the most effective learning moments, they don't happen in a classroom, they happen in conversations. Employees learn best from mentors and peers, not just from slides. Students retain more when they discuss ideas, not just when they read them. Even online, people are more likely to complete a course if there's peer accountability. That's why platforms like Watch and Learn and SoundBranch, which we've built at Webanywhere, focus on voice notes, discussions, and interactive learning.
You mentioned something earlier that I love: giving people tools, not just content. What do you mean by that?
Well, traditionally, training means here's what you need to know, but modern learning should be: here's a challenge, go figure it out. Here's a tool, go experiment. Here's a problem, go solve it. It's not just about delivering information, it's about enabling exploration. A great example is coding. Instead of forcing kids to memorize syntax, platforms like Scratch or Codecademy let them experiment and learn by doing. The same principle should apply across all learning, whether it's sales training, compliance, leadership development, or school education.
All right, let's wrap up with a bold prediction. What's the future of learning in your view?
I think the future of learning is messy, and that's a good thing. If a learning experience feels too neat, too predictable, too controlled, it's probably missing the point. Real learning happens when people make mistakes and learn from them, ask their own questions instead of answering pre-written ones, experiment, adapt, and explore. It's less about perfection and more about progress.
I love that. Less structure, more learning. That's the theme today, and I think it's a message that both educators and businesses need to hear.
Absolutely.
Sean, this has been a fantastic conversation. Before we go, where can people learn more about what you're doing at Webanywhere?
Thanks, Alex. If you want to see how we're rethinking learning management systems and building more engaging learning experiences, visit webanywhere.com.
There you have it. If you care about learning in schools or workplaces, make sure to check out webanywhere.com. Thanks again, Sean, and thanks to all of you for listening. Until next time, keep learning.